Thank you, Handel, and welcome to tonight's edition of the Regional News. We start off in Barbados, where people with respiratory ailments are being asked to take precautions this week. The Barbados Meteorological Services is monitoring the progress of a thick concentration of Saharan dust haze located in the central Atlantic. The model data indicates that the plume of dust haze is forecast to affect Barbados as early as Wednesday morning, with an improvement expected around Friday. Impacts will vary due to the sensitivity of individuals and extent of exposure. People with respiratory ailments such as asthma and sinusitis could be affected. Symptoms include irritation of the eye, nose, and throat, sneezing, wheezing, and coughing. We now turn our attention to Trinidad and Tobago. A taxi driver was hijacked, shot to the head, and left for dead on Sunday by criminals wanting his car. Luckily, the bullet grazed the skull of the 38-year-old taxi driver and he survived. The man was flying his gold Nissan Almiral for hire when he picked up three men. One of them sat in the front passenger seat and the two others sat in the rear seat. Around 8:20, upon nearing St. Albans Road, Valencia, the two men in the rear seat pulled out firearms and announced a hold-up. They ordered the driver into St. Albans Road, where the criminals took a cell phone and $2,100 from the front seat passenger and ordered him into the back seat. The driver was thrown into the trunk. After the criminals took over the vehicle, they drove Block 5 Wallerfield. They shot the driver to the head and threw him out of the vehicle. The passenger was hit on the head with the gun butt and also thrown onto the road. Passers-by assisted the two victims and took them to the hospital and contacted the police. The taxi driver was taken to the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex, where he is warded in serious condition. The passenger was also warded. And finally, Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith says the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is doing all that can be possibly done to deal with the crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago. Griffith also called on law-abiding citizens to stand up and fight for their freedom by demanding that those who are held with illegal firearms must lose their own freedom. When this is achieved, he said, then the police can have a level playing field to drastically reduce homicides. This, as the country recorded its 73rd murder in Arima on Friday evening. Nival Ramprasad of Kumuto was shot and killed inside his vehicle at Omaria Road. In a media release on Saturday, Griffith stated that despite the unacceptable level of murders, serious and violent crime overall had dropped in comparison to the previous years. Since assuming command of the TTPS, Griffith said there had been a modernization and transformation of the police service. He also assured the citizens that the men and women of the police service will be in control of the criminal element. And that's it for Region News this evening. Back to you, Hannah.